And now on BBC One, we've the highlight of the Fashion Week today at Royal Ascot, as Julian Wilson welcomes us now to Ladies' Day.
Ladies' Day at Ascot, a day that's become one of the most successful sporting occasions of the entire year. Already this week there have been record crowds on each of the first 2 days, over 54,000 here yesterday. And today the grandstand and paddock areas are ticket only. Up to 80,000 will eventually be packed into the various enclosures on Gold Cup Day, and predictably the traffic has been a major problem. And one of the reasons for that, I'm afraid, was a bomb scare which occurred earlier this morning. A suspicious package, a briefcase in fact, with suspicious contents, was found in the weighing room area. It was sniffed out by a sniffer dog, and after the area had been cleared, the device was detonated. I'm pleased to say that it turned out to be harmless. Well, the good news is that the weather is considerably better than it's been on the first 2 days of the meeting, and although the ground was very soft by the end of yesterday, it's been drying out by the minute. Today, the ground remains officially soft. It just might be, I suspect, a little bit dead. Well, the Gold Cup's the centrepiece of racing today, with a first prize of over £53,000. We start at 2:30 with the Cork and Orrery Stakes over 6 furlongs. At 3:05 is the Norfolk Stakes over the straight 5 for 2-year-olds. Then the big one, the premier stayers race in the world, with runners from England, France and Ireland. Over 2.5 miles, a field of 8 for the Gold Cup. And then at 4:20 is the Ribblesdale Stakes for 3-year-old fillies. 2 non-runners this afternoon. In the Cork and Orrery Stakes, number 9, Rich Charlie's a non-runner. In the 5th race, the 4:55, number 10, Super Gunner is a non-runner. Well, Steve Cauthen was the hero of the day yesterday, and with his treble he moved into the lead in the race for the Ritz Club Charity Trophy. Steve, with those 3 winners, now heads Ray Cochrane and Walter Swinburne with 2, 5 jockeys there on 1. And after the first race, we'll be showing you how Steve completed that treble in the Queen's Vase yesterday. Well, Ladies' Day means the big fashion day of the week, and once again I'm pleased to welcome as our expert Eve Pollard, editor of You Magazine. Eve, at last it's come, the big one.
Yes. Are you talking about hats or the day? Actually, I do feel people save. It's traditional to save your very best outfit for Ladies' Day, and I think we're going to see that. I think the weather has helped, but I think people have got their very best finery on today, and there'll be marvellous frills and marvellous styles that we expect to see all during the rest of the day and even tomorrow. More of the black and white spots, of course, but women come out in colours, and there are frills and the Spanish look that we've come to realise is part of this season's look if you're a fashion-conscious woman.
Best bit of the ground there is the concrete. In fact, it's just a little bit soggy for heels, I suppose.
It's been a real problem. It's been a real handicap for women as they've tried to get about looking stately and elegant, trying to keep their hats on and up, and not looking too cold. And there's some more of the bare flesh we saw yesterday, some more bare backs. I think we'll see quite a few of those today. But in general, it's a very elegant look, and so far, black and white, I'm afraid, once again have won, with quite a lot of bright pinks.
The sun's been poking out. It's certainly not so windy as it's been the first 2 days, is it?
Well, yes, people have had less than about 6 hair grips holding their hats on, and there's more of the shorter skirts that I think we might see. And of course, there are the shoes you were talking about. That lady's shoes, if she goes anywhere off the concrete, will be extremely muddy by the end of the afternoon.
Eve, we'll hear from you later on. Thank you very much. But now, for the 3rd day running, luckily the royal party have been able to arrive in open carriage. They're approaching the grandstand area. Here's Peter O'Sullivan.
Yes, and the stage magnificently set for the renewal of the Gold Cup, a race that so excited Queen Victoria in 1854 that she was said to have put her head through the glass of the royal box. And as usual, 4 magnificent Windsor Greys, drawing the royal carriage with the Queen, Prince Philip, Prince of Wales, and the Duke of York. The outrider leading the second carriage with Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, the Princess of Wales, and the Duke of Kent. There's a very fine 6-year-old bay mare called Honey Buzzard by a Cleveland Bay stallion out of an Oldenburg mare, and the horses drawing the Queen Mother's carriage are all homebred. They're all by Cleveland Bay stallions out of Oldenburg mares, and they're related to each other, and they've been driven by Duke of Edinburgh in many competitions. Queen's coach led by the Scarlet Outriders. Twilight in Cardiff. And as this magnificent traditional procession approaches the Queen Elizabeth II stand, opened in 1961, the band of the Scots Guards under Major Donald Carson will strike up the National Anthem.
Today in a rather beautiful purple outfit, a sort of mini turban hat. It's small and it matches, I think it's dress and jacket, in a very strong purpley blue colour, which is silk cloquet, which is that sort of raised fabric that's all in silk. Interestingly, I'd heard that she was going to wear this yesterday, but the bad weather forced her to wear something else, but she's decided to wear it today. In the second carriage, we look forward to seeing, there's the Queen Mother and Princess of Wales. The Queen Mother's in very pale, soft, lettuce green really almost, with a stripy leaf effect on the dress. And the Princess of Wales is wearing a wonderful bright turquoise hat and a dress that's got a print of red and turquoise on a yellow background. And in the third carriage, there is the Duchess of York, again in green, and Princess Margaret in a sort of rather nice flower pot flower hat in yellow. Interestingly, the first time the Duke of York has been able to get to Ascot to accompany his wife. And as they turn around, you can see a very nice large white collar, a stunning outfit on the Princess of Wales. She really can take these big hats. And Princess Margaret very delicate in yellow. There, a closer view of that very nice purple outfit, a square neck and a diamond bow brooch. There's the Princess of Wales and the Queen Mother, that bright turquoise, that flat sombrero hat, really singing out, and a very pretty short-sleeved dress. She's wearing short-sleeved cream gloves to go with it. And there's the Duchess of York coming through with Princess Margaret, bright green and yellow.
Well, marvellous scenes there, and I think from a man's point of view, the Duchess of York is definitely the first winner of the afternoon. Certainly had the best of the traffic today, too. Right, on to the racing. Cork and Orrery Stakes, the first race on Gold Cup Day. Runners and riders from Peter O'Sullivan.
And 2 is Handsome Sailor, ridden by Cash Asmussen. 3 Boleyn Knight, ridden by Mark Birch. 8 Minstrella, John Reed. 10 Wiggenthorpe, Pat Eddery. 11 Butsova, Tony Ives. 12 is Ginny Binney, ridden by Ray Cochrane. And I should mention that the Italian horse, the colours of the Italian horse, because they're not on the race card, but thanks to the International Racing Bureau, most of the papers have carried them, are pink with the grey epaulets. And she is in fact carrying 9 stone 7, not 8 stone 7, as is generally indicated. I should just continue by saying 14 is Big Shuffle, Mick Cannan. 15 Mansood, Christy Roach. 16 is Ongoing Situation, Blinkered for the first time, Brian Rouse. 17 is Sharp Reminder, Willie Carson. And 18 is Fundraiser from Ireland, ridden by John Lowe. Here's how they bet.
And Handsome Sailor is 4-1. Boleyn Knight and Minstrella 11-2. Sharp Reminder 6-1. Mansood opened at 6s, gone to 7s. Big Shuffle 8-1. Wiggenthorpe 9-1. And on 14-1, Ginny Binney. Fundraiser 25-1. Ongoing Situation 33-1. And Butsova 50-1. Full show.
Well, Handsome Sailor, favourite there at 4-1, and his trainer Barry Hills has made a sparkling start to the season from his new quarters at Manton. 20 winners already, and the 2nd in the Oaks and the 4th in the Derby. Last weekend I went down to see that famous old stable. Manton today is a magnificent mixture of ancient and modern. The old yard remains the focal point of what's now a colossal operation. Elsewhere on the estate, there are no fewer than 150 horses. When Michael Dickinson left last November, it created the challenge of his life for Barry Hills, who overnight became the new master of Manton and the magnificent Manton House. The estate is a community in its own right, with all the public and private amenities of a small village. Most of the staff live on the estate, which houses over 100 people. It was the old yard that housed horses like Scepter, Bayardo, Gay Crusader and Gainsborough in the great days of Manton in the first quarter of the century. Now Manton, reconstructed by Michael Dickinson, has a very different appearance. The new modern American barns would have bemused the old wizard of Manton, the legendary Alec Taylor. Nowadays horses foregather from all over the estate to create one giant cavalcade for morning exercise. The horse who's made the most spectacular progress under Hills is Handsome Sailor, ridden here by the former North Country jockey Graham Skeets. Last season, Handsome Sailor was running in handicaps. Last month, he won the prestigious Duke of York Stakes, beating the much-vaunted Hallgate. Now he comes to the Royal Meeting with a real chance of upsetting the younger horses. I watched the good-looking colt have his final blow before the big day. Like most sprinters, he's an explosive ball of controlled energy, and now tuned to the peak of fitness. Unlike a work morning at the big training centres, there's not another horse to be seen. Barry, how easy or otherwise has it been to come and train horses at Manton after 20-odd years or so at Lambourne?
Well, nothing's quite easy. I mean, I always thought that I'd be training plenty of winners when I came here, but it is quite different. Although the gallops were downs at Lambourne, and I mean, there's a vast amount of area here, and to find your little ways around and get into a routine, I think it's going to take a few months, really.
To what degree have the facilities created by Michael Dickinson helped you?
Well, as I said, just the 9 furlong new all-weather sawdust gallop is perfect to work any horse on. The peak moss gallop he put in, I've used a couple of times. It rides very well. You can irrigate the gallops here, which is a help. I've only watered a couple of times this spring, but I really haven't had the need to at the moment, but probably in the summer I will. But I've just put around about 100 tons of peat moss on some of the Clapford gallops and try and make some peat moss gallops there for the summer.
You've got an amazing range of gallops, terrific galloping ground, so it must be a terrific job maintaining them.
Well, I've got 4 very good gallop men. Brian Spink, who's the head gallop man, does a wonderful job, and he's very, very keen and very proud of his area, and so he should be. But we shall improve the gallops, and Michael did a good job in doing a lot of things he did. I mean, the aqueduct bend or Belmont bend, as anyone would like to call it. I mean, he does a very good job of that. It's perfect to ride around.
Well, now, Handsome Sailor is already winning the Duke of York Stakes. How good is he?
Well, I think he's an improved horse. Last year he split a past him when he won his last race, you're reading the Black Book. But he was a little bit unlucky at Newmarket in the spring. I think the ground helped him at York to just get his toe in. He likes to just get his toe in. He wouldn't want it too soft, but he wouldn't want it that firm either. So we want a bit of luck with that, because I think he's got a good chance.
And your runner in the Norfolk Stakes, Gallic League, how good's he?
Well, he's one of the fastest 2-year-olds I've ever trained. I mean, he's very impressive to watch at his homework, and he won 2 races very impressively. He gets a little bit impetuous from the stalls, and I think we've got over that now. Asmussen has been on him several times, and he's behaved beautifully since. And he's had this little problem the last couple of days, but hopefully we'll get him to the race. And I think he's perfect now.
Barry Hill's there, and here is Handsome Sailor. Certainly the ground's come right for him, perhaps almost too much so. Well, Charlie Nelson saddles a powerful opponent in Minestrella, who comes back today to what was certainly her best distance last season.
Racing down now inside the last 2 furlongs, and Polonius the leader from Minstrel, and they're clear of Naive Charm and Indian Lily as they race now towards the furlong marker. Polonia being pressed by Minstrel on the far side. Neck and neck, Polonius just the leader. Minstrel ranging up now and showing the better turn of foot as they race inside the last half furlong. Minstrel is going to win it. Racing up to the line, Minstrel going on to win the Moyglare. Minstrel wins it.
Minestrella very good there, but with a Group 1 penalty today, it's an £11 penalty. She really does have a tough task. But she's in there battling, and in there battling in the paddock area, John Hammer and Jimmy Lindy.
Thank you, Julian. And to see her there, you'd be forgiven to think that she was a colt, not a filly. In fact, she's one of the 3 fillies in the race, and as Julian was saying, she was one of the top 2-year-old fillies of last year. She was aimed this season at the English 1,000 and the Irish 1,000 guineas, but on both occasions I think she's found the mile beyond her. She's 9-2 joint favourite from 11-2. This will be the first time she's been brought back to sprinting distance this season, a distance she won over no less than 4 times last year. And what a sprinter she was. She's not the easiest of rides. John Reed's got to hold her up till the very last minute. Well, she's a warm order in the market. Let's go and see where some of the other 10 runners figure.
And Minstrella is a clear favourite now, 9-2. Handsome Sailor, second favourite, 5-1. Boleyn Knight and Sharp Reminder, 6-1. Mansouge, 7-1. Big Shuffle, 8-1. Wigginthorpe, 9-1. Ginny Binney, 16s. Fundraiser, 25-1. And on 33-1 ongoing situation. And Butts Over, 50-1.
Well, quite an exciting day here, and we're starting off with a pretty fast race, the 6 furlongs Cork and Orrery. And the one we're looking at now is one of the North Invaders, number 3, Boleyn Knight. This season he won a decent race at Thirsk, that was over 6 furlongs, and that was when beating God's Lane. He also ran a fair 4th behind Handsome Sailor at York, and I think over 6 furlongs he may be held by that horse again today. His last start was over 7, which was at Haydock, when he just failed to beat Linda's Magic. Well, that's good form, because Linda's Magic has run some good races since, and as you see there, Peter Easterby has this horse looking really well, and I saw Peter as he came into the course. He looked a little bit hot and flustered, and I said, "What's up, Peter?" And he said, "I've had to walk the last 2 miles to the track," and Mark Birch with him. So there you are, Mark's going to be pretty fit here on Boleyn Knight. There is some of the crowd that have turned up today to see the attraction, the main attraction, the Gold Cup, 2.5 mile Gold Cup, and what an attraction it is too. The crowds are still pouring in though, as the traffic has been pretty chaos. This is number 15, I think. Mansouge was runner-up behind Wigginthorpe, that was in the Gimcrack last season. He had us a short head to make up on that horse today, but he's run some good races against the best. He went on to win the July Stakes at Newmarket after that. I think today's distance, though, is probably his best. He's been running over 5 furlongs this season in group races, one of them in France. But his trainer, Neville Callaghan, has brought him back to the 6 for this race today, and I think it's going to suit him. He's got him looking really well. He's 7-1 in the market at the moment. As you can see, the muscles really standing out on this fine sprinter's quarters, and his coat has really got a 6-penny shine. The ground are gradually drying out here, because a pretty warm breeze and also the sun shining, as you can see. So every hour that we go without rain, the better the ground's going to be. And but for the first, I would say for the first 2 or 3 hours, it has the reverse effect, and it's inclined to make it a little bit demanding, a little bit like putty, really. They get no help off it at all. There is the lovely Ascot track, and the infield filled to capacity. And in fact, the main stands, Tattersalls and paddock, have been ticket only today and have been sold out for many, many weeks. The nearest horse nearest to us, in fact, I think is number 12, Ginny Binny. And on the far side, in fact, is Funraiser. Both fillies. Ginny Billy, let's go with her. Peter was saying he had a bit of misinformation fed us earlier on today. In fact, he's carrying £8 extra, and that was a mistake on the race card, and he's down in most of the papers and race cards as carrying 8.7. This filly, in fact, she's got to carry 9 stone 1. Well, they're well on their way down to the 6 furlong start. Pretty competitive market. There's changes going on all the time. Let's have a look.
Well, Minstrella's price is firming. It's 4-1, Jimmy. Now, Handsome Sailor's 5-1. Ball and Night 6s, and so is Sharp Reminder. Still on 7-1 is Mansouj. Big Shuffle 8-1. Wiggenthorpe 9-1. Ginny Binny 16s. Fundraiser 25-1. Ongoing Situation and Butts Over, but Ongoing Situation has just gone to 33-1 again.
There's the view that the public are getting from the stands, right the way down over this lovely forest and over Ascot Heath. There, number 10, this is Wiggenthorpe. Pat Eddery just dismounted, just having the saddle pop back a bit. It's just ridden up on the way down to the start, a little bit too far up over the withers. I thought he looked exceptionally well in the paddock. Proved himself a useful 2-year-old last year, winning on 5 occasions. One of them, in fact, was the Gimcrack Stakes at York, giving his owner, Robert Sangster, the privilege of speaking at the Gimcrack dinner. That day, Mansouj was a short head behind him. He's has run 7th in his 1 run this season at York, but I think that was just putting an edge on him. I've never seen him look better in the paddock. As you can see, the diamonds really standing out on his quarters. And I think probably Mick Easterby has got him 100% right today. If he does produce his best running, it'll be one of them battling that out at the finish. There's number 14. This is a Big Shuffle. He's a useful performer in Ireland. Ran a good race, went just over 4 lengths 5th. That was in the Irish 2,000 guineas, behind Don't Forget Me. But he's been brought back to sprinting today. May find the ground against him, but Dermot Weld thinks that the 6 furlongs will suit him better than the mile. He's 8-1 in the market, and an Irish Invader, as I say, trained by Dermot Weld at the Cup. Number 11, this is Butts Over. Could find the ground against her. Has only run twice this season and disappointed on both of her last starts. She's by Formidable. She's 50-1 in the market, but when she does come to hand, she can be a bit useful, but as I say, she hasn't had too much of an edge on her as late. Let's have a look at Sharp Reminder. Ran probably one of his best races in defeat. He was on his last start, went 5 lengths second behind Gayan in the Sandy Lane Stakes at Haydock. Well, for me, Gayan will win top sprint here at the meeting tomorrow, the King Stand Stakes. So to be beaten by her is no disgrace. She should handle, or Sharp Reminder should handle today's ground pretty well. He's won twice this season over today's distance at Kempton and Newbury, but he also looked well in the paddock, John. He's 6-1 in the market at the moment, and that may prove to be 13-2. In fact, he's just gone from 6-1, and that could prove to be pretty good odds, I'd say.
Yes, he's won on fast ground, Jimmy, but being by Sharpo, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't act on the soft ground as well. Tremendous number of people here, all ticket and Tattersalls. It was no good coming to Tattersalls enclosure without a prepaid ticket today, and you can see why. Absolutely packed to capacity, but the stands are very good here. Here we get a marvellous view, even from the Silver Ring. Minstrella goes into stall number 1. The stalls are in the middle of the track. Quick show of betting.
Minstrella 9-2, Handsome Sailor 5-1. Bolin Knight is 11-2. Sharp Reminder 7-1 now. So is Mansouj. Big Shuffle 8-1. Wigginthorpe 10s. Jenny Binney 16-1. Fundraiser 25-1. 33-1 is Ongoing Situation. And Butts Overstays 50-1.
This is Wigginthorpe going in with blinkers, but they're very open blinkers. And he's in, they're almost all in. Here's Peter.
That's it, they're under orders for the Cork and Orrery, and they're away. And Minstrella breaks very fast towards the near side. Ginny Binney right up with them too, and Handsome Sailor also. And well, there is Big Shuffle. And it's Ginny Binney, Handsome Sailor, Big Shuffle, Minstrella towards the right. Over on the far side, showing speed, is Fundraiser. Coming down past the half-mile pole, Handsome Sailor in the lead from Ginny Binney in second. Then comes Minstrella, Fundraiser on the far side with Big Shuffle. Then on the near side, making ground in blinkers, is Wigginthorpe. But it's Handsome Sailor and Ginny Binney, these two. Ginny Binney, the Italian Hope, and Handsome Sailor from Minstrella in the sheepskin nose band towards the right. On the far right in the blinkers is Wigginthorpe. They're coming down towards the 2 furlong pole, and it's Handsome Sailor with the advantage from Big Shuffle. Fundraiser over on the far side coming to join them. It's Fundraiser over on the far side with Big Shuffle, Handsome Sailor, Minstrella on the near side as they race into the final furlong. Big Shuffle and Fundraiser, and putting in a very good run is Ongoing Situation, but it's Big Shuffle who's gone to the front, but being challenged now by Minstrella. It's Big Shuffle from Ongoing Situation, and Minstrella went at the line. Big Shuffle has won it. At second is Ongoing Situation, and third was Handsome Sailor. It's close for fourth, close between Minstrella, Bolin Knight and Sharp Reminder. But the result of the Cork and Orrery Stakes is first, number 14, Big Shuffle, owned by Moyglare Stud Farms Limited, trained by Dermot Weld in Ireland and ridden by Mick Kinnan. Second was number 16, Ongoing Situation, owned by Mrs. William McAlpine, trained by David Morley and ridden by Brian Rouse, and it's a photograph for third place. A photo for third place with Handsome Sailor right there and Minstrella.
And Big Shuffle's come back very successfully to a shorter distance, having been running over the classic distance last month. Handsome Sailor set a terrific gallop here, pulled his way into the lead after they'd gone 100 yards, and for a moment looked like dominating the race, but then they started queuing up behind him. Fundraiser towards the outside came with a good run here with the noseband. Just inside him, the other Irish challenger, Big Shuffle. Wigginthorpe right over towards the stand rails, and one from the right in the yellow colours there, Minstrella, never quite able to get in a blow. It looks as though running over the longer distance has taken the edge off her foot, but it hasn't done so of Big Shuffle, who's got there and driven out by Michael Kinnan, has gained Ireland's first success of the week. Handsome Sailor, having been headed, runs on again very strongly, and the best finisher of all is Ongoing Situation in the pink colours, produced by Brian Rouse, and running on into second place in the last furlong. But Big Shuffle has gone clear. A notable success this for Dermot Weld and Michael Kinnan. Ongoing Situation goes into second. In third place is Handsome Sailor, and running on best of the finish, probably now wanting 7 furlongs, is Minstrella. This is the head-on view, and no real problems. The only man who may have had a small problem is Brian Rouse, the rider of Ongoing Situation in the pink. He's absolutely tracking the winner here, Big Shuffle. That's the winner with the white sleeves, and looking for a little bit of room, because there isn't really a gap here between the winner and Handsome Sailor. So if there was a hard luck story, and in fact the steward's inquiry has been announced, and also look to the left now, and you'll see that Fundraiser swerves in, and may possibly have caused a little bit of interference to the horse on the inside. Yes, certainly Brian Rouse hasn't had any racing room here at all. Now switches towards the outside, and as he does so, you can see that horse in the blue and white colours is a little bit the meat and the sandwich for a moment, Sharp Reminder. But racing up to the line, Big Shuffle is clear of all that. I can't see that he would be involved in any problem at all. The horse concerned in the steward's inquiry, I would say, is Ongoing Situation, who may possibly have interfered with Sharp Reminder.
Dermot well there, having revived an old Irish custom in the Cork and Orrery. The last winner from Ireland was Carney in 1980. Handsome Sailor was officially placed third, incidentally, and fourth Minstrella. While before that, in 79, it was Thatching, trained by Vincent O'Brien. And the year before that, Noel Meade won it with Sweet Mint. In 75, Swing Time won it for Ireland. In 74, Sarah Tamer won it. But there'd been no Irish winner since Carney in 1980. And now this son of Super Concorde, Big Shuffle out of Raise Your Skirts by Elevation, the emphatic winner ultimately. With a reminder that there's a steward's inquiry in progress, but the winner very, very unlikely to be affected. Here are the starting prices.
First number 14, Big Shuffle, 8-1. Second number 16, Ongoing Situation, 33-1. And third number 2, Handsome Sailor, 5-1. The result of the 2:15 at Hamilton, rather a surprise there. First number 7, Drag Artist, 6-1. The second number 1, Alvin York, 7-2 on, favourite. And third number 12, Shakama, 8-1. There were 4 runners.
And the time for the first race of the meeting, 1 minute 18.57 seconds, and that is exactly 4 seconds slower than the standard time. So the going is pretty slow. It's soft ground, no doubt. Well, you may remember that last year we read out a letter from a viewer who wrote complimenting us on the nature of the fuchsias in my commentary position. And at the same time, I'm afraid we had to confess that, well, they aren't entirely real fuchsias on account of my unfortunate hay fever. Well, today, our correspondent, Mr. James Poole of Grangemouth, and his father were the guests of the Ascot Authority at the Royal meeting. And a short while ago, they were able to see the not quite real fuchsias at first hand. I hope they enjoy the day. If they follow my tips, they'll probably find it a very expensive one indeed. And incidentally, we had a correspondent from Bury St Edmunds writing in the same vein that arrived today. Very sorry to disappoint you, Mrs. Cartier. Not much chance of any hay fever today because we haven't had much sun. But the sun has come out now, and so too have all the race goers, and they're enjoying the best of the week so far, I think, as I'm sure is Eve Pollard.
Crowns of all different sorts, and I just don't mean royal ones, are available today. There are some that are covered with veiling, some that are covered with flowers, and this one, which is a very bright pink, and again looks rather similar to a heart one that we saw yesterday that was in black and white. Festooned with flowers. This is a very lovely cabbage rose sort of a hat, rather Edwardian in style, and rather comfortable to wear. And for all those men who are asking me what a peplum suit is, a peplum suit is a jacket that has an extra frill around the waist, and it suits many women. Oh, look, a spider's web. Now there's a bit of the bareback we saw yesterday, and she's got lacy gloves to go with it. The epitome of chic, the style we've seen all week, black and white spots, a chic shape, and that necessary umbrella. More
price you can't beat.
Paean, I should say, also quite a useful performer in his own right, though. He's won 5 of his 10 starts all last season, and mostly on soft ground as today. This season he's run twice. On his last start, that was here in the Sagaro Stakes, he stayed on through the final furlong, but he did fail to pull back Sadim by 3 parts of a length on that occasion. It's interesting to note that Paean, Sadim and Orthal are all out of Nijinsky bred mares.
So the royal party leave the paddock, having run their eye over these 8 runners for the Gold Cup. Staying horses.
Imperator, 66-1 the outsider.
started for the Gold Cup, being led down by the Irish invader, Orthel, trained by David O'Brien. A nice 4-year-old bay colt. He's 8-1 in the market by Shergar, out of Galetto, who's by Nijinsky. Christy Roach in the saddle. Mon Ami with Willie Ryan in the saddle. He runs in the colours of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, trained at Newmarket by Henry Cecil, ridden by Willie Ryan. He's by What a Pleasure, out of Chatterbox, who was by the mighty Rebo. We go back to Caesar Imperata, ridden by Ray Cochrane, trained by Reg Akehurst. He's 66-1 in the market. And I'm afraid I would give him little chance today. The vast crowd have walked down now to the rails to see the 8 runners parade in front of the stands, a long tradition. And we're having a little bit of trouble there. I think we've got a loose one, which I didn't quite manage to catch. And there he is. And in fact, it's Satko, the French horse, number 8, who's deposited young Eric Saint-Martin on the turf, and he's been given a little bit of trouble in the parade. He's by Blakeney, out of Satois, who's by Non No Alco. But we go back to number 5, Paean. He's by Bastino, out of Mixed Applause. Once again, was by Nijinsky. He's trained at Newmarket by Henry Cecil. And the choice of the 2 Henry Cecil trained runners, Steve Cauthen. Number 6, Sadim, trained at Pulborough by Guy Harwood. He's 4-1 in the market at the moment. A nice, big, strong chestnut colt by Forley, out of a Nijinsky mare, Miss Mazif, and ridden by Greville Starkey. Saronicus, trained at Newmarket by Clive Britton, another 7-1 shot, ridden by the American Cash Asmussen. He's by Dalsan, out of Golf Bird, who was by Golf Pearl. Well, we've lost the French invader for one moment, so we're dropped back to the 3-1 favourite. This is A Valuable Witness, trained by Jeremy Tree at Beckhampton. He's by Vel Dallorn, out of Friendly Witness, who was by the great American sire, Northern Dancer. He's ridden by Pat Edery and running in blinkers for the first time. He's 130 from 3-1, and he's going to like this ground. This is the sort of going that he really relishes in, and in fact this horse improves at least 10 to 20 pounds on his form when the ground's riding really soft. A long walk now down in front of the stands, quite a lot of noise coming. Satko, French invader, now just joined the parade, and he's left his lad behind, which I think is very sensible because he can keep him on the move. And it's quite hard when a horse rears up for a jockey to stay aboard when they're riding as short as they are. In fact, it's rather unique to see Eric Saint-Martin not riding quite as short as his father, Yves. But there, the crowds are now out onto the lawns in force, and the runners are fast approaching the 2 furlong marker, shortly to be turned round and walk all the way back to the winning post. And as now, apart from the French invader Satko, all behaving themselves immaculately. As Orthel turns to walk back, let's have a look at the market.
Well, Valuable Witness is the favourite, although it's gone out just a little, 130 now. Sadim 4-1, and that's come in. Satko 11-2. Saronicus is 7-1. Also Paean 7-1. Bonamy 15-2. Otal 8-1. Caesar Imperator 66-1.
Well, it's a race that is bred to produce the best stayers in Europe, and really I would say the best stayers throughout the world. And there in front is Orthel by Shergar, the mighty Shergar, who was one of the most impressive Derby winners for a long time, out of Galetto, who's by Nijinsky. And as I was saying, there's 3 of today's runners, all have their dams, are all by Nijinsky. So it just shows you really the necessity to maintain a truly great race like the Gold Cup. classic of all the stay-in races. There on the infield are quite a lot of the racegoers that have come in their coaches and cars, and it's such a shame when the rain comes like this, because they're all there in short sleeves and their summer dresses, and if only the sun would shine just for today. There are the colours of Lord Howard de Warden, 4 back. I'd give those a great chance. Well, there's no man that supports races like this more than Lord Howard de Warden, because he's not slow in sending his mares, his good mares, to stay in horses, stay in individuals, and he's proved that he can breed some of the best bloodstock in the world. It was rather good to hear Willie Jarvis is sending Coolmore Rose down front row, or she's been sent to Ardros, and they have a nice yearling by Ardros, because if you remember, the mighty Ardros won this race in 1981 and completed the double in 1982. Well, I don't know quite what's happened there, because that was Orthel, and in fact he should have turned and cantered back down the track, and in fact he's gone right the way round and looks like going round to Swinley Bottom, which is completely the wrong way. And Christy Roach, who rides him, should know better than that, because he's ridden here on many occasions and he's not running away. But there you can see, John, they've all gone down the right way down to the start. I've never seen that before, John, have you?
I don't recall seeing that, Jimmy. It certainly looked as if it was a mistake by the jockey rather than the horse taking off with him, but Christy Roach now has realised there's nothing else with him. Maybe I'm doing him an injustice, maybe the horse just dived off with him a little bit, but at all events he's back on the right course now. One of the 3 runners of Sheikh Mohammed. And now let's have a look at the betting.
Valuable witness, 100 to 30, Sadim 7 to 2. Satko 11 to 2, Paean 6 to 1, Saronica 7 to 1, Bonamy 8 to 1, Otal also 8 to 1, and Cesar Imperator 66 to 1.
3 runners of Sheikh Mohammed. Ortal wearing a white cap with a maroon star, Bonamy a yellow cap, and Sadim carrying the first colours, maroon cap with a white star. Meanwhile, we've got Valuable Witness just sweating up a little bit, but not anything to worry about, going down with Paean. Valuable Witness was a very doubtful runner for this race at the weekend, because it looked as if the ground was going to ride fast, in which case he certainly wouldn't have run. But the rain came for him, as it did for 1 or 2 yesterday. And if it wasn't for his disappointing run in the Prix du Cadran, he would be an even shorter price here. Saronicus, number 7. In his other races this season, he's carried the blue and white colours of Captain Marcus Lemos. He's now running in the black, white and yellow colours of Mr. Tony Richards. I didn't think when I saw this horse run at the opening meeting of the season at Doncaster, he ran 3rd in just an ordinary handicap. I never thought I'd see him in the Gold Cup field, but since then he's gone from strength to strength, winning a handicap at Newmarket, winning another handicap with embarrassing ease at Sandown, and then beating Sadim in the Henry II Stakes at Sandown again. Cash Asmussen has the ride. Cash looking for his first win of the meeting. He had 3 at the meeting last year, and he's ridden the 3rd horse in each of the first 2 races this afternoon. Handsome Sailor in the 1st and Gallic League in the 2nd. Another show of betting.
Valuable Witness, 100 to 30, Sadim 7 to 2, Satko and Paean 6 to 1, Saronicus 7 to 1, Otal 8 to 1, Bonamy is 9s, and Caesar Imperator 66 to 1.
Number 2 is Bonamy, ridden by Willie Ryan, who won the last race yesterday evening on Primitive Rising. He's come in for a good ride here. Willie expecting to ride Paean in the race, and Steve Cauthen was expected to ride Bonamy, but with the change in the going, the stable jockey has opted to change mounts, and that certainly had a dramatic effect on the betting, because this morning most of the bookmakers were offering Bonamy around the 4-to-1 mark, with Paean at 12s, and now they're both around the 6-7-to-1 mark. Marvellous to see such a big crowd here. Every box taken, every space on the stands taken. This is a good race to watch. The crowd get plenty of value for money over this 2.5 miles, and all clearly visible from the stands. They start down at the 6 furlong gate, which is 3/4 of the way down the straight mile, and then, having got to the winning post for the first time, then they make a complete circuit of the course. And it's a really testing final mile, because most of it is uphill, slightly uphill, and assuming they go a good pace, which I'm sure they will, it will be a tremendous test of stamina. The French challenger Satko goes in, quite an international flavour for this race, with jockeys from Ireland, America, France and England. That's the rank outsider. Caesar Imperator going in. Valuable Witness is 100-30 favourite. Sadim is 7-2, so not much between those leading two. Then joint third favourites Satko and Paean, and it's 7-1 bar the 4. Caesar Imperator, rank outsider. He won a handicap at Newmarket carrying a lightweight. Difficult to see him in the shake-up here. There goes Paean. There's the Aris and Ledger winner Otal. He's one of the last, just backed out. And they're going to put the blindfold on him, but I don't think he's going to be a lot of trouble. Just not cooperating for a moment, but with a bit of a heave, I think he'll go in. Here's Peter O'Sullivan.
That's it, they're all in. Under starters' orders, and they're away. Nobody very anxious to set the pace in the early stages. Caesar Imperator going up there with Paean. Caesar Imperator taking him along from Paean. Satko over on the far rail, just in behind them. Sadim, then Bonamy and Otal. Valuable Witness, the back marker at the moment, and Caesar Imperator from Paean. Then comes Sardine and Soronicus on the inside. Then Bonamy. Behind Bonamy is Otal. And Valuable Witness still the back marker. They pass the intersection there. Caesar Imperator taking him along from Paean, Sardine, Soronicus, Bonamy, Satko, Otal, and finally Valuable Witness. Just a good even gallop at the moment. Caesar Imperator from Paean. Then comes Sadim and Soronicus, Bonamy, Satko, Otal, and Valuable Witness as they come up to the winning post with another complete circuit in the 1987 Ascot Gold Cup. And Caesar Imperator in the lead from Paean in second. Third is Sadim and 4 Soronicus. 5 is Bonamy, then Satko and Otal matching strides, followed by Valuable Witness, the back marker of the 8 at the moment, but going very well, very smoothly within himself. They make the right-hand turn, begin to pass under the 1.5 mile gate from where they set off in the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes here in July. And it's Caesar Imperator still from Paean, Sadim. Then comes Soronicus. Just in behind Soronicus is Bonamy, then Otal, Satko for France, and finally Valuable Witness. In virtually the same order throughout so far as they run down towards Swinley Bottom. Caesar Imperator from Paean. Then comes Sadim, Soronicus, Bonamy, Otal, Satko, and Valuable Witness. the softest part of the course here, this rain-soaked course, as they run down towards the mile-pole with Caesar Imperator still in the lead from Paean. Behind Paean is still Sadim. Then making a little bit of ground towards the outside of Saronicus is Otal with Bon Ami. Valuable Witness has just relegated Satko to last. And still Caesar Imperator, the outsider of the 8 runners, in the lead from Paean, Sadim, Saronicus on the inside of Otal and Bon Ami. Valuable Witness and Satko the back markers. 6 furlongs to run in the Gold Cup, and still Caesar Imperator from Paean in second. Third is Sadim and 4 Saronicus. Then come Otal and Bon Ami together. And now Valuable Witness being chased along by Pat Orrery to try and get on terms as Otal drops back last and Paean has gone to the front and being chased now by Sadim. It's Paean now, Steve Cauthen from Sadim, Greville Starkey. Saronicus has moved into third as they race round the home turn, and it's Paean with a 2-length advantage over Sadim in second, Saronicus third, 4 Caesar Imperator fading, Valuable Witness under pressure to get on terms, under 3 furlongs to run in the Gold Cup, and Paean and Steve Cauthen with the advantage from Sadim in second, then comes Saronicus, and then Valuable Witness still trying to make ground from the rear, inside the final 2, and Paean is clear. Paean is clear of Sadim, and under pressure Saronicus. Valuable Witness still trying to get on terms, but it looks as though Steve Cauthen's late switch from Bon Ami to Paean has paid off as Paean strides into the final furlong with an unassailable lead, surely, striding up towards the line from the tiring Sadim and Saronicus, and Paean wins the Gold Cup in tremendous style. Paean is the winner. It's going to be quite close for second, with Sadim hanging on to be second ahead of Saronicus third, and 4 Valuable Witness. Satko came next, followed by Caesar Imperator, and then Bon Ami, from whom Steve Cauthen switched, and finally the Jefferson Smurfit Irish Ledger winner, Otal. And so the result of the 1987 Gold Cup: first, number 5, Paean, owned by Lord Howard de Walden, bred by him too, trained by Henry Cecil and written by Steve Cauthen. Second was number 6, Sadim, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, trained by Guy Harwood and written by Greville Starkey. And third, number 7, Saronicus, owned by Mr. Tony Richards, trained by Clive Britton and written by Cash Asmussen. Fourth was number 10, Valuable Witness. Well, what brilliant ploy on behalf of Steve Cauthen. It's landed him his 4th winner at the 1987 festival here at Ascot. Paean, the brilliant and comfortable winner of the Gold Cup, as we can review with Julian Wilson.
Well, the first and second in the Cigar Stakes, but very much in a different order now, with the ground coming so much in Paean's favour. Steve Cauthen always handy behind the pacemakers. Caesar Imperator kicked on some way from home, and his horse, who stays really well, coming home one of the easiest winners of the Gold Cup for a number of years. Steve riding his 4th winner of the meeting, keeping his mount up to the mark and providing terrific pleasure for his owner, Lord Howard de Walden. All on his own, Paean the winner.
So Steve returning on his 2nd Gold Cup winner. He won it previously in '84 on Gildoran. This his 60th winner of the season. And Henry Cecil, number 63 for him, and a 4th Gold Cup. He won it in '79 with Le Mans, in '80 again with Le Mans, in '82 with Ardross. And now Paean, homebred. What pleasure this will have given Lord Howard de Walden. His owner breeder is by Bastino, out of mixed applause. Nothing mixed about the applause today. There's the happy owner greeting the leading jockey of the season, Steve Cauthen, and Henry Cecil in the raincoat once again in the winner's circle here at Royal Ascot. The starting price is as follows.
First, number 5, Paean, 6-1. Second, number 6, Sadim, 7-2. And third, number 7, Saronicus, 7-1. Just repeat that, the winners of the Gold Cup. First, number 5, Paean, 6-1. Second, number 6, Salim, 7-2. And third, number 7, Saronicus, 7-1.
A marvellous triumph for Lord Howard de Walden and for Henry Cecil, who's making this race almost his own. And what an adroit switch of mounts by Steve Cauthen overnight when the ground changed. So, a great race for the Gold Cup, a great triumph. Now it's time to return for the national and international news with Maurice Gill.
And from the newsroom, the main stories. Britain is expelling most of the staff of the Iranian embassy in London and recalling another British diplomat from Tehran. The two countries are one step away from a complete break in diplomatic links.
By the end of the month, only one British diplomat, 31-year-old Paul Ramsey, will remain in Tehran. Only one Iranian diplomat will be allowed to stay in Britain. Diplomatic activity between the two countries will effectively cease. But
Cooper in Fife when a car transporter collided with the town's Mercat Cross. Several hundredweights of masonry were sent flying, and the 12-foot-high stone shaft on the cross was demolished. No one was hurt. The cross had stood in the town centre for centuries. There have been several attempts in recent years to have it removed as a potential traffic hazard. Frank Christie, the Aberdeen businessman imprisoned without bail in California, is to appear in court today in what may be his last chance to avoid trial. He's accused of violating America's trade embargo against Libya. His lawyer will argue that the case be dismissed and will claim that the embargo applied only to Americans. Scottish brewers have renewed their commitment to football sponsorship with the announcement of a 3-year package worth £150,000. The money will finance Player of the Month and Manager of the Month awards. Now a look at the weather forecast. All areas will be dry and the south and west will be mostly sunny, but cloud will persist in the north and northeast. Tonight will be dry in all parts, but rather cold. That's all from the newsroom for the moment. There'll be more news in Reporting Scotland at 6:35.
And now, BBC Two returns to Royal Ascot for more racing, and we join Julian Wilson.
Well, back here at Ascot, scenes of euphoria after a marvellous race for the Gold Cup, a marvellous triumph for Paean, yet another terrific feather in the cap of Henry Cecil, who's won the race recently, of course, with horses like Ardross and Lamos, but never has he had an easier winner than Paean, whose owner I'm now pleased to present. He's Lord Howard de Walden. Well, Lord Howard, many, many congratulations. Has this always been the target for this horse?
No, I don't think so, really, because we hadn't the slightest idea whether he'd stay the distance, you know. I mean, why should he have done? He'd never tried it before. But he likes this going, and that's why I think Steve Cauthen decided, you know, this morning to ride him instead of the other horse, because he likes it and the other horse doesn't. So.
Of course, he's out of an American-bred mare.
Well, Valentinsky's I bought from Peter Burrell years ago, so he's highly delighted too. He's a half-brother, funnily enough, to that horse of mine ran in the Coventry and didn't do so well 2 days ago. But I've always liked Paean. He's a very nice horse. What happens now, I really wouldn't know. I'm so amazed at him winning, let alone in that way, that I don't know what we do.
Well, he looked a very, very good horse today, and you must have had very little doubt about the outcome from fully 2 furlongs out.
Yes, I should have thought so.
Steve Cauthen always handy in the race, and rather like your Derby winner Slip Anchor, from some way out he didn't leave you in any doubt that it was going to be a great day.
Yeah, I think he's one of those horses that, you know, he's got no real sort of turn of foot at the end. I mean, he has to sort of gallop them into the ground, which is exactly what he did today.
And you must have been one of the few people who were quite enjoying the weather this week.
Oh, I think it's splendid, yes.
A marvellous staying performance, and of course this is a race which, well, as a traditionalist, shall we say, it must give you a great deal of pleasure to win.
Of course it does. As you say, being a traditionalist. Perhaps poor old Arden will win this one day, who knows? Could do, couldn't he?
Well, a marvellous moment for Steve Cauthen and your trainer, Henry Cecil, and it must have been rather anxious for you overnight, not knowing who was going to ride the horse, although I'm sure Willie Ryan would have done equally well.
Yes, I think he probably would. But I always thought Steve probably would because of all this rain. But he's canny, he never tells you the last moment anyway. And he's good at choosing the right one anyway.
So, would you hope this horse would go through the cut pattern, Goodwood, Doncaster, and the rest of it?
Honestly, I haven't the least idea. Certainly not his firm. He doesn't go on the firm at all. He doesn't like it. He's much better when it's soft. But if it goes on like this all the summer, he'll probably do quite well.
Well, it's been a marvellous year for you because, of course, your stallion Chris is also proving himself one of the great stallions of the post-war era.
Yes, amazing, isn't it? He's done incredibly well. Keep my fingers crossed the slip ankle will do the same. Then we can keep going for quite a long time.
Would you ever think of sending mixed applause the dam of this to Chris?
Oh, she's been. I've got a yearling like Chris out of mixed applause, and she's gone again, so she'll have two. You're quite right. Why not?
Lord Howard, many congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Lord Howard Walden, former senior steward of the Jockey Club, winning the race, which all the traditionalists in racing love to win. A marvellous, marvellous performance. Right, on now to the Ribblesdale Stakes. Henry Cecil, 3 winners yesterday. He's won the Gold Cup today. He's got a very strong hand indeed here. Here's the list of runners and riders from Peter.
1 is Blessed Event, ridden by Cash Asmussen. 2, Glint of Victory, Michael Hills. 4, Nom de Plume, Steve Cauthen. 5, Port Elaine, Willie Carson. 6, Queen Midas, Willie Rahn. And 7, Trojan Miss, ridden by Tony Ives, and here's how they bet.
Very strong favourite. Nom de Plume is 13-8. Blessed Event 3-1. Port Elaine 7-2. Trojan Miss 5-1. Queen Midas is 7s, and Glint of Victory 20-1.
Well, no luck for Sheikh Mohammed in the Gold Cup. The weather went very much against him, but he's got a very strong hand again here. Nom de Plume, the favourite, and of course Port Elaine, the filly, you remember, who won the Lingfield Oaks trial.
Port Elaine from Queen Midas, and these two have gone clear at the moment of the others as they race down towards the furlong pole. And it's Queen Midas over on the far side, Port Elaine on the near side. There's very little between the two as they race into the closing stages. Queen Midas on the far side, Port Elaine on the Queen Midas looked as though she might have been hampered there, and here comes Eosifer on the outside. Eosifer is challenging Port Elaine, but Port Elaine holding Eosifer as they come to the line. Port Elaine is going to win it from Eosifer second and Queen Midas third.
Well, Port Elaine had the best of it that day. She's a smashing filly. She's been a lovely filly since the moment she was born. But she's a daughter of Troy and therefore might not be so well suited by the soft ground today. We'll see. Here's Jimmy.
Thank you, Julian. And as you say, she'll see the trip out well. Will she handle the ground? She was tried over 1.5 miles for the first time, which we've just seen at Lingfield. And she stayed on really well on that occasion. She made all of the running, and I think we'll find Willie Carson trying to adopt the same tactics on her here today. A lovely filly, and running in the colours of Sheikh Mohammed, and what an intelligent head she's got too. Lovely big deep girth, and she takes everything in her stride. Nothing seems to worry her, but Major Dick Hearn's horses are always a little bit like this. They've got a lovely home where they're trained. He's got one of the best staffs in the country, and hence I always think that horses grow like the people that look after them, and I've very seldom seen one of the Major's horses play up. And also when I rode for him for many years second to Joe Mercer, they were always some of the best rides in the business. Well, what a Gold Cup that was. 15 lengths. Fancy a 6-1 winner coming out of the powerful, all-conquering Henry Cecil Yard, and especially being ridden by Steve Cauthen. This is number 7. This is a Trojan Miss, another Troy filly. This filly won the last of her 2 starts as a 2-year-old. That was at Kempton in September, over 7 furlongs. She was a nice filly then, and she's grown into even a better looking one. She's been seen out once this year. That was in the Loopy Stakes at Goodwood. She's 5-1 at the moment. That was run over 1.25 miles, and she finished third, 4.5 lengths off of the winner, Scimitar. Well, wasn't it tragic in the Oaks when Scimitar shattered that cannon bone? But it's good news, I think, from her, because she's got over the operation well, and given another 2 or 3 weeks, I think she's going to be all right. Back to Trojan Miss. This is the first time she tackles a distance beyond that trip, and I think it's going to suit her. And like Port Elaine, she's trained by Major Dick Hearn, at East Hills. Again, filly with a lovely temperament and a little bit of a breeze now. The jockeys have just come into the paddock, but it's keeping the rain away, thank goodness, because our last day tomorrow promises some really super racing. And the Wokingham, which is one of the top sprints of the season, a cavalry charge of colour, and let's hope the rain stays away so that we've got really good ground. We're bringing you 4 races again tomorrow, and I promise you they'll all be thrillers. There's number 4. This is what everybody will be trying to get on, I think. This is Nom de Plume. She's a bay filly by No Double, trained by Henry Cecil and ridden by Steve Cauthen. She's been very lightly raced, this filly. One run last year as a 2-year-old, running second at Leicester. She's unbeaten in her 2 starts this year. The maiden at Newcastle, beating Arlen Bell quite snugly by 3 lengths on that occasion. And then at York, she got the better of Gala Parade by a neck. And she had Glint of Victory 2.5 lengths further back third, so Glint of Victory's got a bit to make up on this filly today. She's 7-4 from 13-8. She met with a little interference 2 furlongs out there on occasion, and like all good animals, she showed a good turn of foot to get out of trouble, and I think Steve will be riding her for that turn of foot today. And unlike in the Gold Cup when he kicked fully 4.5, 5 furlongs out, I think this filly won't be seen until very late, and perhaps even in the last half furlong. 1.5 mile classic fillies race this, because when they get a bracket like the Ribblesdale Stakes behind them, to their credit, they're worth a lot of money for the paddocks later on. But most of them come from people that breed their own now. Robert Sangster, Blessed Advent, and many others. Sheikh Mohammed and Louis Friedman and Sir Michael Sobel all breed their own, so I'd be very surprised if I saw any of these 6 runners go through the ring. There is, I think, number 7, Trojan Miss, we've had a look at. We're trying to find you Blessed Event in a moment. It's a very big paddock. And in fact, that is number 1. That is Blessed Event. She's by King's Lake. How well he's done at stud. And unlike the fillies we've looked at so far, she's quite a narrow filly, this. She's every bit a runner, though. You can just see where she's just hit her stifle a bit there. But a good filly. She's ran a super race in the Pretty Polly Stakes at Newmarket. That was back in the spring, when 9 lengths third behind Indian Skimmer. Well, what an animal Indian Skimmer's turned out. She got her head in front on her last start when beating Golden Braid by 2 lengths. That was at Newbury, after making most of the running. Today, though, is the first time she tackles a distance beyond 1.25 miles, and I think we'll see Cash Asmussen. Perhaps if he does go, if nobody wants to go, he could go to the front, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if he wouldn't like a lead for the first bit. But she kept on quickening up at Newbury over the 1.25 miles, and I think we'll see Cash row for home quite a long way out, hoping that she keeps galloping. She should handle the ground, and as quite a lot of these light fillies do, but as you see there, she's like a piece of elastic. Believe you me, she can run. Well, let's go and see if there's any money for Blessed Event.
As a matter of fact, Blessed Event is one of the entrants which hasn't moved at all in the betting. Second favourite at 3-1. Nom de Plume is 2-1. Blessed Event 3s. Portalane 4-1. Trojan Mist 9-2. Queen Midas 8-1. And Glint of Victory, which opened at 20-1, is now 33-1.
Well, quite a lot of money for the favourite. And then we go and have a look at Glint of Victory. Ran twice last season. Had 2 races so far this term, and in fact she's still a maiden. Has been third in her 2 outings this season, notably at York last month. That was when just over 2.5 lengths behind another of today's runners, the favourite, in fact, Nom de Plume. She's 33-1 in the market at the moment. Well, for me, she's no 33-1 shot, because she's run some good races, although she hasn't managed to get her head in front. She's yet to run beyond 1.25 miles, and I think this 1.5 miles really going to suit her. She's by Glint of Gold, and Glint of Gold's turning into really one of our top stallions, and she's not a bad type of filly either. Michael Hill's in the saddle. Michael looking for his 24th winner of the season. There's Princess Anne, in fact, and on Princess Anne's right is Major Dick Hearn. Unfortunately now has to get around in his wheelchair, although he's by no means confined to it. When he's at home, he gets around like a 2-year-old, but he had a very bad hunting accident 2 seasons ago, and like the fighter he is, he's got back, and now back well in charge of his street. A wonderful man, a great man with horses, and well, his record speaks for itself. Well, there is Princess Anne, in fact Princess Royal, and she leaves to go down the Royal Walk, and a really attractive white hat with a very beautifully printed dress, and how summery that looks. And to salute it, the sun has actually broken through the thunderclouds, and it just really caps the scene. A picture that speaks for itself, to see the British public enjoying themselves here at a unique setting. How lucky we are to have a royal family so interested in the sport that most British people love, and a sport which perhaps I'd still say that we can lead the world in. And there are the 6 fillies for the Ribblesdale stake, the Ascot Oaks, fondly known as for many seasons. And there is the colours of Robert Sangster, one of Europe's and one of the world's top breeders. Blessed event on our way to the start. We'll have a look at the market, and then we'll join John Hammer.
Donald Plume, 15 to 8 again. Blessed event, 100 to 30. Porter Lane, 9 to 2, and so is Trojan Miss. The Queen Midas, 8 to 1. Glint of Victory, 33 to 1.
Number 1 is Blessed Event. Will definitely like this soft ground. Her first outing on a race course was at Newbury in April, when she was second in the Fred Darling Stakes in really atrocious conditions, and she coped remarkably well, especially considering that she was running for the first time. And third to Indian Skimmer and Percy's Lass over 1.25 miles at Newmarket. That was a very good run indeed. And then on firm ground, she started favourite for the Loopy Stakes at Goodwood. That was her worst run, although she didn't run too badly. She was 7th of the 16 runners to Scimitarra. But I think the firm ground was against her there. Certainly when she was back on softish going at Newbury recently, she's 7 to 2 from 100 to 30. She won very nicely by 2 lengths after taking up the running fully a mile from home, beating Golden Braid and Iosipher. Number 6 is Queen Midas. Willie Rann riding this one for Henry Cecil, and Willie's won on Queen Midas already at Wolverhampton earlier in the season. She shot clear. She may not have beaten a very good field, but she won very easily by 6 lengths. And then she was third, looked a little bit unlucky in the Lingfield Oaks, just ran out of room about a furlong from home, but possibly wouldn't have won anyway. She's 8 to 1, and it remains to be seen how she'll act on this softer ground, because she's never run on it. Glint of Victory, number 2, just leading Nom de Plume, the favourite. Nom de Plume trying 1.5 miles for the first time. She'll certainly act on the ground, I think, because it was fairly soft when she won easily at Newmarket first time out this season, but she is trying a longer trip. As Jimmy told you, she's got plenty of speed. She got in a bit of a pocket at York and had to show quite a lot of foot to get out of trouble. As in the previous race, Paean and Bonamy were both trained by Henry Cecil. Steve switched mounts there. I don't know if he was tempted to switch from Nom de Plume. There was quite a rumour in the press room that he was going to switch to Queen Midas, but that proved to be untrue. And Steve riding this 2-to-1 chance in preference to Queen Midas, who I think is around the 8-to-1 mark. Nom de Plume's first into the stalls, followed by Blessed Event. In the second colours of Sheikh Mohammed, his Port Elaine, that's a distinguishing white cap, whereas the first colours have a maroon cap with a white star. 2-to-1 Nom de Plume, 7-to-2 Blessed Event, 4-to-1 Port Elaine, and Queen Midas is the next to go into the stalls. 2 more to go. Trojan Miss. And the last one in will be the outsider, Glint of Victory. Very big price, as Jimmy said, for a horse that was only 2 3/4 lengths behind the favourite. It's remarkable that she's so completely ignored in the betting. And it won't be long before she goes in. Let's join Peter.
That's it, all in. And they're away. Port Elaine, the first to show from Blessed Event in second. Then comes Trojan Miss on the inside of Glint of Victory, Nom de Plume, and Queen Midas. Port Elaine. Making it from Blessed Event and Trojan Miss and Glint of Victory, then Nom de Plume and Queen Midas. Port Elaine setting a good strong pace here. Willie Carson bidding for his 4th success in the Ribblesdale Stakes. Blessed Event second on the outside, with Trojan Miss very close. Then comes Glint of Victory and Queen Midas, and Steve Cauthen and Nom de Plume, the back markers of the sextet, as Port Elaine makes it past the 7 pole from Blessed Event, Cash Asmussen in second. Then comes Trojan Miss and Glint of Victory and Queen Midas, and finally Nom de Plume. Coming to the 6 furlong pole, Port Elaine from Blessed Event, Trojan Miss, then Glint of Victory, Queen Midas, and Nom de Plume. 5 furlongs to run in the Ribblesdale. Port Elaine, who's made it all so far, from Blessed Event in second, Trojan Miss third, and 4 Glint of Victory, 5 and 6, Queen Midas and Nom de Plume. Racing to the home turn. Half a mile to run now. Port Elaine from Blessed Event. Then Trojan Miss and Glint of Victory, Queen Midas and Nom de Plume. Swinging into the straight, Port Elaine from Blessed Event, Queen Midas, Glint of Victory. Nom de Plume still the back marker. 2.5 furlongs to run. Port Elaine from Blessed Event, Glint of Victory, and now Steve Cauthen trying to unleash a run on Nom de Plume as Blessed Event fights it out with Port Elaine up front from Glint of Victory. Queen Midas is improving. Racing down inside the final furlong, Blessed Event from Port Elaine, but Queen Midas coming there very strongly towards the stand side. It's Blessed Event from Queen Midas as they race into the closing stages. Blessed Event from Queen Midas taking it up now. Queen Midas going on now from Blessed Event as they come up to the line, and Queen Midas racing from Blessed Event second and third, Port Elaine. Then came Nom de Plume and Glint of Victory, and last was Trojan Miss, and so the result of the Ribblesdale Stakes, first, number 6, Queen Midas, owned by Mr. Lewis Friedman and bred by him, trained by Henry Cecil once again, and ridden by Willie Ryan. Second, number 1, Blessed Event, owned by Mr. Robert Sangster and bred by him, trained by Barry Hills and ridden by Cash Asmussen. And third, number 5, Port Elaine, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, trained by Dick Hearn and ridden by Willie Carson. Fourth was number 4, Nom de Plume.
Well, a wonderful day for Henry Cecil, but Steve Cauthen's luck has deserted him here, although, as John told you, he thought about switching mounts. The winner here, just about last. The 2 stable companions last and last but one, as Port Elaine held off First one challenger, then another, but was going to surrender now, succumb to Blessed Event, who comes to battle past Port Elaine, who had just been favoured by faster ground. But now Willie Ryan has got a run out of Queen Midas. Steve can't get a run out of Nom de Plume, who doesn't pick up in the ground. But Queen Midas wears down her opponents and turns round the form of the Lingfield trial. Blessed Event looked like carrying the Sangster colours to victory for a moment, but in the end it was the Louis Friedman colours, the reference point colours, who were triumphant in the Ribblesdale Stakes.
Willie Ryan on his second winner of the meeting and 28th of the season. The position in the Ritz Club Charity Trophy that his stablemate Steve Cauthen with 4 winners is in the lead. Riders of 2 winners apiece are now Willie Ryan, Walter Swinburne and Ray Cochrane. This filly by Glint of Gold, out of Star Court. Glint of Gold responsible here for both Queen Midas and, as his name suggests, Glint of Victory. And the distance is 1 length and 2.5 lengths. And a third Ribblesdale for Henry Cecil, who won it back in 1976 with Catalpa and in 81 with Strigida. And Henry obviously delighted with this filly. Trainer who has immense affection for his horses. And Louis Friedman in the winner's circle once again. And the starting prices on the Ribblesdale Stakes and the results so far as follows.
The 420, first number 6, Queen Midas, 9-1. Second number 1, Blessed Event, 100-30. And third number 5, Port Elaine, 4-1, 6th round. And now the day's results at Royal Ascot. The 230, first number 14, Big Shuffle, 8-1. Second number 16, Ongoing Situation, 33-1. And third number 2, Handsome Sailor, 5-1. The 420. Well, we've already had that. We'll just tell you again, number 6, Queen Midas, won at 9-1. Now we're back on track. 305, first number 3, Colmore Row, 100-30. Second number 2, Classic Ruler. And the price of Classic Ruler, I'll have to turn to my memory here. I think Classic Ruler was on 6-1, but we'll do that again. Here it is now. First number 3, Colmore Row, 100-30. Second number 2, Classic Ruler, 13-2. And third number 5, Gallic League, 3-1, joint favourite. And the 345 went to number 5, Paean, 6-1. Second number 6, Sadim, 7-2. And third number 7, Saronicus, 7-1. Now Hamilton results. The 250, first number 10, In-State, 6-1. Second number 2, Rustic Dawn, even money favourite. And third number 13, Stormy Eve, 9-1, and there were 7 runners.
And Martin doing his best for us in the studio. It's not only here that the unexpected happens. Well, it's been a funny old Gold Cup day in a way. The weather's been slightly better than the 2 previous days, but Ladies' Day, elegance once again won through. Eve Pollard, a day to remember.
Oh, definitely. I think that whether it was people's first day out and they'd really planned what to do well, or perhaps, I hope, had the advantage of watching these 2 days we've done before, or whether people had really saved their best for Ladies' Day, I think it's been an excellent day. I've never seen such an even flow of elegance everywhere. There weren't the usual highs and lows. Virtually everybody looked rather nice.
There's been a lot of rain, there's been a bit of rain anyway, there's been a fair amount of wind, but everyone seems to have stayed together in one piece.
Well, I think it shows that old maxim about, you know, you must suffer to look beautiful, and some of us have got goose pimples in one or two places we'd rather not have, but I think most of us have actually dressed quite sensibly for the weather.
Yeah. And hats today, well, the broad brims weren't a good idea once again, really, were they?
Except they do look so wonderful, and in fact some people seem to have managed to find a way to skewer them to their hair, so I think we won't see the demise of the Ascot hat. I think it's been a great day for them, really.
So, Ladies' Day really here to stay, isn't it?
Here to stay, and I think people who watch Ladies' Day can get a jolly good idea about what to wear for their summer wedding or what to wear for other smart occasions during the summer. They've really gone to town, and black and white, of course, has been the fair ladies' winner.
Eve, it's been lovely having you on board. It's Eve Pollard. Well, a reminder, we're back with 4 races on the 4th and final day of the Royal Meeting tomorrow, and that the highlights this evening are at the new early time of 7:45 on BBC Two, highlights of Ladies' Day at Royal Ascot. But now it's time to move about 30 miles towards the east, towards Lords and St John's Wood, where we rejoin Tony Lewis.